My name is Damali Ssali and I welcome you to this episode of the Ideation Corner. The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected. And today I host Charlyn Kentaro Otim. Charlyn is a young Ugandan entrepreneur who is very passionate about natural hair and healthy living. She started the Quintaro Handmade Organics while she was still working full-time in research legal. Today, Kentaro Handmade Organics is an award-winning maker of organic products which are chemical-free. Some of these products include moisturizers, shampoos, oils, and hair treatment. Charlyn uses local Ugandan ingredients to make her products, such as cocoa, shea butter, cow ghee, hibiscus, avocado, and mujaja. Charlyn also loves to speak at events where she promotes the love of natural hair and also tries to change the mindsets around natural beauty on the African continent. Charlyn, with her Kentaro Handmade Organics, has won international recognition from CNN, All Africa, and She Leads Africa. I am very happy to host Charlyn on my Ideation Corner today. Charlyn, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. I'm so excited about your product because, as you can see, I have natural hair. Yes. So I'm glad there is a product that actually deals with me. But when I was initially, going through your profile, I realized that you started Kentaro Handmade Organics while you're still working full time. Yes. How did you go about that?
It was very much a 24/7 activity for me at that point. So like you said, I was doing legal research. Thankfully, the organization I was working with were flexible in terms of work hours. There was some flexibility. So on the days that I could leave work slightly early, say 5 p.m., I would go back home to my parents' home at that time and basically just begin with the butters. So it was 9 to 5 and then 5 to 10 p.m.
But how did you learn how to do these things? Did you study it? Did you?
Well, I'm studying as I go. Okay. But I started with something that was fairly easy, which is the whipped butters, which is basically a combination of oils that I picked based on what they bring to the table, what they can do for people's hair. Combine that. It took some research, of course. I did plenty of research beforehand. What can I use? How do they combine together? The chemistry of it.
This was online research?
This is online research.
So you taught
at the
yourself?
Beginning. I taught myself. Wow. Yes. Yes, I did. I love reading, just as a lawyer, but also just as a personality trait. I love reading. So I was reading everything that I could find on oils, on hair care, taught myself how to mix it, and then basically started handing it out for free in the beginning. Friends, family, yes. So that's how we got started. As things went on and things got a little bit more complicated, of course, eventually people liked the butters initially, but then they started to ask, oh, okay, so do you have shampoo? Do you have conditioner?
You have treatment.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, wait, this is getting a bit too complicated for me, and that's the point at which we contacted a cosmetic chemist whose name is Grace, and so we brought her on board, and she is a part of the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. She would help us in her free time, but eventually we signed on to be incubated at Uganda Industrial Research Institute, and they helped us along in the beginning. And
okay. And then when people started now demanding for more, the full line of the products, is that when you started saying, you know what, I'm going to charge you?
Yes. No, we started charging for the butters. I would say maybe 5 months into it, became less of a hobby and more of a part-time business at that point. but only because people, my husband especially, started to say, but you have something that you're doing here. I don't know why you're giving it out for free.
Yeah.
I was like, but I have my other job on the side. Like, I felt like I was cheating
the job.
The job to have a side business, which of course is silly, but yeah.
So eventually you're like, okay, people are asking for these products continuously. Let me charge them.
Exactly. Let me charge for them. I just sort of asked around to see what was on the market. So this is around 2014. At the time, there wasn't that much going on in terms of people doing, even still up to now, there's not much going on in terms of how we do our things, you know, with local Ugandan ingredients, targeting specifically natural hair. So there wasn't much for me to go on in terms of pricing, what's going on the market and everything. But I, you know, put together what I thought was a fair price for what we were putting in and what, you know, the kind of profit we wanted to make, and just put them out on. We started with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started your gig.
Started with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are you right now? Where can someone get your products, for example?
So right now we are still on Facebook and all the other social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, and that's how people can reach us directly, primarily. So we do, we take orders online and then we deliver, but we also have our products in supermarkets now, so Capital Shoppers, ShopRite, along the Tankhill Muyenga Street, so TMT, Italian, some beauty shops in town. I mean, there's, we have about 15 stockists at the moment, around Kampala. So we try to do, we've done Kampala and Entebbe for now. We are trying to reach Mukono and Mbarara hopefully by the end of the year, if this corona thing doesn't disturb us too much. But yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. So
in the profile I was reading, I realized that you're using local Ugandan ingredients, which I'm very happy about, because I'm a firm believer in local content. How are you sourcing them? How easy is it for you to actually get them?
From the beginning, that was always the plan. So the thing is, this business was born out of a need to have products that worked, first of all for me, because I was looking around for products that could work for me, that I could afford, first of all, and that actually had ingredients that worked and that worked well. So when I found out that there was shea butter in Uganda in plenty, it didn't make sense for me to start importing shea butter from Ghana or from Nigeria. Why would I? First of all, our shea butter is superior to theirs. I'm not just saying this as a patriot. No. For cosmetic use, our shea butter is actually superior in terms of what it contains, fatty acids and all that. It has a better content. So when we started with, like I said, with butters. But then when people started to ask for the shampoos and the conditioners, I was thinking, okay, what can we put in these things? What else can we put in these things that is, indigenous to Uganda? For so many reasons. First of all, why shouldn't we support Ugandan farmers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, why should I have to go to Nigeria, Ghana? But also cost-wise, it just made more sense. And then we happened to have the things, right? So that's when we started to source the things like hibiscus, mujaja, which all these things turns out are fantastic for hair and skin, right? Cocoa butter, cow ghee, all those things. I think what the first challenge that we ran into was finding a supplier that can guarantee quality, that actually has manufacturing practices in place that are best practices. That was the first challenge for us, because one day someone would give you shea butter that is great. The next day it has a funny smell. The next, so those were all growing pains, just part of a learning curve. But eventually we settled with some growers in Bundibujo and Lira, that have been able to at least to supply us, consistent inputs. Yeah.
And these growers, so you have like agreements with them where they agree to supply you a certain amount every.
So for now, eventually that's how we would hope that it would be. But for now, they just give us on a demand basis. Yeah. So at least over the last few years, we figured out, this is our production pattern. This is how much we'll need for the next 6 months. So that's how we do it basically. The great thing is that we found them already in place to do exports and things like that. So they already had their certification set up, and so that worked great for us.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So you came in, they're already certified, they already know the minimum requirements and the minimum standards. So you just bought the stuff when they're already prepared. Okay. Yes. Excellent. You touched it a little bit, the international products, because there are a lot of international natural hair products on the market. I mean, I struggle to find Kentaro because the other products are just all over the place.
Shouting.
Yes, in your face. So how are you able to compete with this?
It wasn't easy in the beginning. Ugandans, I don't know if it's unique to Ugandans, but I think people have this mindset that if it's from the UK or if it's from the US, it's better, which is actually not necessarily the case. If a global brand, who of course is thinking about cost, about bottom line, tells you that they put shea butter, chances that the shea butter that they put in is more than 5%, very slim. Yes, whereas we are out here, killing ourselves saying, this has to be 25% shea butter based, or even more, depending on the product. So we had a hard time trying to convince people that just because this is made in Uganda doesn't mean that it's
poor quality.
Exactly, it's inferior or. So, of course, there was that struggle. We did have some really fantastic early adopters, clients who really believed in us from the beginning, and not just friends and family, like people who said, this is Ugandan, amazing, give me a kilo of this, give me, so that helped, because also I found that Ugandans as a culture, we like to copy what other people are doing.
Yes. Yeah. And if my sister recommends a product, I'm more likely to get it.
Exactly.
Than if it's advertised.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing that we are very particular about is having a look that is of an international standard. So our packaging, our labeling, the way that we present our product, we wanted it if you see it on the shelf in Capital Shoppers or Master Supermarket, it actually competes for your attention with Cantu or, I don't know, L'Oreal. Of course, that also has had its challenges in terms of, where do we get the packaging from and all of that. But it's something that we've been very particular about. We did not want to just put anything out there. We want to elevate the standard of Ugandan beauty and beauty brands. So yeah, that helped. People have always mentioned, your packaging is beautiful. They actually think that things are imported because so that helped us as well. Okay. Yeah, that helped us as well. Like I said, we started on Facebook. If you go even now, there's still very large groups that deal specifically with natural hair. So Natural Hair Uganda, Ugandans with natural hair, the kind of groups like that also helped us a lot to get our product out there. So we tried to push it within the natural hair community first, and then try to make evangelists really out of our first customers. So they told a friend, and a friend told a friend, and that's how people, because once people experience the product, they know that this product moisturized my hair better than product X from the US, so I can stand by it, So we knew that what we're making is a fantastic product. We just have to make it look good and get it out there. People will experience it and they will come back. So that's that's kind of
the quality of the product will be what is going to sell us.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, really, that's all we can do. If someone wants to be biased because this thing says made in Uganda, you can only tell them you try it, but Beyond that, you know, yeah.
There's nothing else you can do. So you talked about this natural hair movement, which I think 2 years ago I didn't have this hair.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years ago that I just cut everything off and started having my natural hair.
Yeah.
How is that movement going for you, and what impact has it had on you? Has it in any way influenced you, you know, doing even more?
Yeah, so we were fortunate to come into the market at a time when people are really running away from relaxed hair. Ugandan women are running away from relaxed hair for themselves, for their children. People seem to be much more willing to experiment with natural hair, even at the risk of, you know, feeling uncomfortable in the workplace, because, you know, our workplaces can be very conservative. So we were fortunate to come in at the time. We formalized the company in 2015. So that's 5 years ago. People were not as willing to go out on the limb for their natural hair, for natural products. But we've seen a really fantastic shift since then. So now almost every other woman you see on the street has natural hair. And we tried to use that as much as we could to our advantage. The way that we formulate our products is we start from the back end, can I say. So as having natural hair myself and having, you know, groups of people around me who have natural hair, we were very conscious about addressing needs that we as African women with natural hair face. So if it's breakage, if it's dandruff, if it's dryness, we started, that's how we've always formulated the products. We say, what do we have around us in terms of plant-based ingredients do we have that can target dandruff, that can target dryness in the hair, that can, and then we work towards putting that into a conditioner, right? Rather than just putting out, you know, this is the basic conditioner, just hoping that it will sell. And I think that's what India does a lot to the natural hair community, because we really wanted to focus on their hair needs. Yeah, and I think that that has worked for us.
That's worked for you.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And then, okay, obviously, you know, Corona has affected a lot of companies right now, and you know, several companies have suffered through this. Though I think even in Corona, I still had to sort my hair out.
Yes.
I don't know if the beauty industry has been affected as much, because you know, as women, we tend to still need to look nice, even if we're in the house.
Yes.
So how has that had an impact on you?
It's been an interesting time. Well, I think, like everyone is saying, these are unprecedented times. But it really brought a lot of things to the foreground for us. Like you said, it turns out hair is an essential service. Hair care is an essential, because honestly, I won't lie, you know, unfortunately, our partners in terms of salons were one of the first people to be affected in the lockdown. They couldn't work, so now we had all their clients sitting at home. The scalp is itching, the hair is dry, the children's hair looks bad, you know, what can I do? And so we decided to put together do-it-yourself packages and basically take people through how to wash their hair. How do you do a treatment at home? How do you moisturize the hair on a daily basis and oil it and style it? And so it's been an opportunity for us, a silver lining, can I say, but also a chance to show people that, listen, your hair it's on your head, like it shouldn't be foreign to you. We actually had people saying, I have never done my hair before by myself, I'm scared. Yes, help me out. So we've basically been trying to put out a lot of content on social media, taking people through step by step for themselves, for their children, and that helped with the sales. It really did. So trying to put together DIY packages. Of course, on the other side of things, we were affected by the lockdown in terms of our supply chain being affected, right? So all of a sudden it was taking twice as long to get our packaging in, to get our inputs in. No one was prepared for this thing, right? So we, in the beginning, we just had enough products that we had made that would typically usually last us 2 months. But because suddenly the demand was through the roof, we found ourselves with products worth 3 weeks. And we had to quickly start, put things together. So it's been very challenging for us, but also it pushed us to grow as a business, forced us to think outside the box, and it has also helped us to connect with the customer in ways that we wouldn't normally. So mixed bag, I would say. It's been a mixed bag.
Because it appears, okay, your beauty industry was definitely COVID-proof, but then also what we've been seeing a lot on the market is that people are beginning to use e-commerce a whole lot more.
Yeah.
So have your clients been getting in touch with you a lot more online and automated rather than face-to-face? How is that working for you?
So of course, as a business, we had to take a decision to try and maximize the cash sales as much as possible. So that meant, for us, sort of slowing down on credit sales to supermarkets, to beauty shops. Beauty shops were closed anyway because most of them are in arcades and malls. And so like you said, we found ourselves having to, we've for the last maybe 3-4 years, we had a physical presence in a mall in Kisementi. But just a few weeks before the lockdown, we had made a decision to close the shop, not because of Corona or anything, but because we were trying as much as possible to be accessible to our customer. So when we were in enough supermarkets and beauty shops in the Kololo area, we said, why are we don't need to be physically here. I mean, it had its advantages, but overall it was a cost that we could afford to cut, right? So we had closed the shop. We had largely tried to push ourselves online, on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. So when the lockdown happened, we tried to intensify that. We were stocking with a couple of online or e-commerce sites as well. So Jumia, Sente, and then some of the supermarkets that we were at also they were online. They have like an online presence. So that, that's something that we had to intensify. We had to be clever about doing online sales, and it has shown us, I think it has shown us all that, this online thing for one can be a lifesaver. And if you play it right, you actually might not need to have a physical presence in a brick and mortar store. So it's been great in terms of connecting directly with your client. Someone calls you, they tell you exactly what they are suffering with in terms of what their hair needs, and then you're able to tailor a package to them. Say, okay, so you need this shampoo, you need this leave-in, you need this oil, and that has helped us. It really has, yeah.
So it's brought you closer to your customer, because now before you were actually a distance, you were like an international brand.
Exactly.
We only find you in a supermarket. Exactly. We don't get to talk to you.
Yeah.
So this bringing you closer to your customer, you feel like that's the way to go, where you're closer to the customer, and then you can tailor. Because yes, I could go on a shelf, pick a Kentaro product that I think I need, but I don't know.
Yes.
And then it doesn't solve my problem because I picked the wrong one.
And then
I am like, Kentaro is not working.
Exactly. These guys are fakes. They do, Yeah. So it has actually helped us to be in direct contact, but also in terms of cost cutting. In terms of pay, we would have been 4 or 5 months into rent arrears where I haven't made a single sale if you were relying directly or solely on having a physical presence. So online is definitely the way to go. Everyone, not everyone, but most people in Kampala have a phone with WhatsApp at the bare minimum. And if you use WhatsApp for business like we do, you're able to put your catalog out there, you're able to put your price list out there. It saves you so much time and and effort, and I can't see anything wrong with going online.
Okay. So we talked a little bit, and I keep going back to it, the using the local ingredients. What do you feel, what more can be done to ensure that our manufacturers, the people who are doing things that require ingredients that we may have here, are actually able to use ingredients that are made here? Because you find some manufacturers actually import things that are here, not because they want to, but because it's just so inconvenient trying to source them here.
Yes. I think that there is now, I might be I might step on some toes, but
no, please do. Step on the toes.
I know that there's been some efforts by people like Ministry of Trade, their whole Buy Uganda, Build Uganda campaign, that boo-boo thing, to sort of bring together everyone in one space. I know for sure that this year again they were affected by the COVID-19, but last year they had done I think it was a 3-4 day
exhibition in Kolo.
Exhibition, yes, where they sort of, and I have to say things like that are fantastic. They're really, you can see that they're really trying to push us in that direction, but yet there still seems to be something lacking on the ground in terms of the ease with which you can find the supplier that you need, right? I don't know what else they can. I don't know if they can do some sort of like portal online where if you've passed a certain certification, you can then enlist your products online for people to find you and buy. They should pay me for this advice. But no.
So I was just about to tell you that you could do that.
Yes.
You could set up a portal and then get all the suppliers online.
So what has happened in because our industry as local manufacturers of cosmetics is still fairly small, and everyone sort of knows everyone. So if I'm looking for, say, an oil that I've never used before that I wanted to try out, I would know who to call. But if someone is stepping into this business and they're just trying it out for the first time, like we were 5 years ago, you would find that they would probably still make the same mistakes we made 5 years ago, which doesn't say much about progress being made. So I feel like there's certain efforts being done, but we could go a lot faster and do a lot more, especially now that everyone is, online. Like, what are we waiting for? So that needs to happen.
But do you also feel that also they should be, it could be, so the government does some things policy-wise and trying to make sure that the policies are in place. We have the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, they try to push that, support local manufacturers, but then also the industry players, like you players in the beauty industry, where you have organized yourself in a way where you're like, okay, this farmer in Bundibujo supplies fantastic shea. We are going to certify. We as Ugandan beauty manufacturers, like you could do that. We
could. We had made some strides in that, but I think you find because of the nature of the challenges of just running your own business as it is.
Like you have bigger problems.
Yes,
you have to
exactly.
survive.
Yes, you could barely find the time to sit together as, although ideally that is what we could and should do. We had had some conversations started a couple of years ago, but in the end everyone just sort of runs back to just trying to survive and but that's
because imagine now in Corona you're like, guys, we need to talk about industry issues.
Exactly.
You're like, wait, I need to survive right now.
Because I know that that's how they managed to do it in West Africa. They organized themselves as a shea butter, whatever. I don't know if they organized themselves around anything other than shea butter, but that's how they were able to make progress in terms of exporting. So you'll find that I keep going back to shea butter, for example. It only grows in a certain number of countries in the world and only in Africa. So it's called including Uganda. So it's a shea butter belt that goes from West Africa, and then in East Africa it's just us and South Sudan.
Really?
Yes, there is no shea butter locally grown in Kenya or in Tanzania. No. It's us and South Sudan, and then a belt within, so Mali, Niger, Ghana, Nigeria. But those few countries in West Africa make up over 90% of the shea butter that's used in the rest of the world.
So why isn't our shea butter industry
because we haven't made those efforts.
I think you should take the lead with the beauty industry, set it up.
We should.
Kentaro, please.
We must. I think everyone is just sort of trying to find their feet, and then they will.
But those are I feel like there's an even bigger opportunity. If you're saying that literally it's South Sudan, Uganda, and then the West Africans who are producing shea butter for the world, this is a prime product. It's a prime product. You could have a whole ecosystem around it.
So now, unfortunately, what's happened in Uganda is you'll find that the majority of the shea butter that's being processed and taken out of the country is being done by non-Ugandans.
So we're first of all, we're losing our major product.
Yes.
We're losing our ingredient.
That's our story. Yes.
But then I also heard that there was a shea butter in northern Uganda because they've gone so much into the charcoal production. Yes. And the shea trees take ages to grow. Yes. So they're cutting them down for the quick back of charcoal.
Yes. So that's been criminalized now by the government. So it's actually illegal to do that. Whether there's any enforcement on the ground is another story. Yeah, so on the one hand you have the local Ugandan who doesn't know the gold exactly.
But
exactly.
I'm not waiting for the tree to grow.
Yeah, and on the other hand you have the people who know the value of this shea nut tree, and they're making the big bucks. They're reaping big, but nothing is trickling back down
to the guy
with the bare minimum. Exactly, the guy with the tree.
I think your industry should do something about it, especially you, the Ugandans. You should do something about it. That is I'm going to talk to you again, and I'll be asking about that.
Some years from now, I hope we'll have made some strides in that direction. Yeah, it would be ideal, honestly. But I think because of just that very tricky nature of we tried to focus as much on not just shea butter, but the other broader range of Ugandan inputs.
Then you can look at them as one in the industry and make sure that the guy on the ground, the farmer who has a cocoa tree, shea butter tree, has the cow ghee, really it feels like they're benefiting out of it. Yes. Because if they're not benefiting out of the cow ghee, tomorrow they won't have cows.
Yes.
And then you will have nothing. You have no input.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think for us, we just try to make our work easier by going with people who were already
certified,
and we make sure that this estate is trading fair trade. Yes. Have those standards in place, that they're not ripping off the guy on the ground. For now, because we're also still the little guy. We can't make the little guys. Yeah.
So Charlyn, thank you so much for speaking to me. Do you have any last words that you want to talk about?
You mentioned in the beginning that I talk a lot about promoting beauty standards. I think we've gone a long way in that as Ugandans, but it would be fantastic to see more positive outlook in terms of natural hair is beautiful. We can use our natural products to enhance it. I think it would be great to go in that direction, and just look for us. Kentaro Handmade Organics. We're here to serve you. So these are our products. They are locally made. We support local farmers. We try as much as possible to put in Ugandan inputs, but we also meet specific needs for natural haired women and children. So the avogi, for example, is fantastic for people with dry kaweke type hair. This is our berry shampoo. It's really great for breakage. We have a lot more. We have this is one of our best-selling anti-breakage hair conditioners. With this has hibiscus. This has mujaja and avocado and ghee, and then this is our braid spray that has apple cider vinegar and menthol. So they're very innovative products. We're very proud of them. You can look us up online with the hashtag Kentaro Handmade Organics to shop our products, or walk into your local supermarket and ask for us. You can reach us on 0783 374 921.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Please do look out for the Quintaro products, which are amazingly made by local Ugandan ingredients, where they support local farmers, they support the Buy Uganda Build Uganda, support local content. Please look out for these products and do follow her hashtag Quintaro Handmade Organics. Please do follow my Twitter handle, Damali Ssali, on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much.